Right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are recording now. So, okay. You'll notice on your desks there's a little badge. Right? Yeah. That is the Young Carers badge. Now, the Young Carers themselves, they actually designed it and helped make it. Okay. And from our civic service, I delivered a cheque on Monday to them for £300. So they've got a good start, haven't they?
Fantastic.
Okay. So we'll start now then. Good evening, everybody. Please, could you all sign in and out? There is. This is so people can be accounted for in the event of an emergency. Please note the emergency evacuation procedure notices. Should the alarm sound, please leave the building by the nearest available exit, which is outside there. Okay. Once out of the building, proceed to the assembly point at the corner of Queen Street and Reynolds Street. Thank you. The Town Council will be recording the meeting tonight. Please let a member of staff know if you do not wish to be recorded tonight. Is there anybody?
I'm sweating.
Doesn't count your back. Before I start the meeting, please silence your mobile phones. If you have them switched on, please. Let you off, you too. Okay. And John on vibrate. Okay. Item number 1. Apologies. I will now hand over to the clerk to read out the list of apologies. Tom.
Apologies for, sorry, I should say I'm a bit ill, so my voice is not fantastic. But, apologies to John Thurston for being on holiday, Councillor Holden Banks for work reasons, Councillor Glanville for work reasons, Councillor Wilkie just in traffic.
We accept those apologies? Thank you. Number 2, declarations of interest. Council to receive any declarations of interest in accordance with the requirements of the Autism Act 2011 and to consider any applications for dispensation in relation to disclosable pecuniary interest or personal interests. There is a link to the Code of Conduct. I hope you've all read it. Are there any declarations of interest from members in relation to the items on the agenda? No? Okay, thank you. We'll move on to number 3. Minutes of the ordinary meeting held on Wednesday, the 13th of September 2017. Council to consider approving the minutes of the ordinary meeting as a true and accurate record. There is a link to those minutes. I hope you've all read them all.
Moving chair.
You have all had a chance to read the minutes. Please could I have a proposer and seconder to approve them? Yeah, right, thank you. You did it while I was reading. Are we in a hurry to go home tonight?
Yeah.
Number 4, public participation time. The period of time which is designated for public participation shall not exceed 15 minutes. Each member of the public may only speak once and for no longer than 5 minutes. Standing orders S3, paras E, F and G. Members of the public may now speak to items that are on the agenda. Are there any? No? Thank you. We'll move on. Council minutes, working parties and outside bodies. Minutes of meeting. Council to note the minutes of the following committees and working parties, i.e. Extraordinary Finance and General Purposes meeting. Now, you've got it on your agenda. Can we take this in block? Okay. So there's ordinary property meeting, extraordinary strategic planning committee meeting, ordinary staffing committee meeting, ordinary bandstand committee meeting, ordinary planning committee meeting. So you've already read a chance to read the minutes. Please could I have a proposer and a seconder to approve the minutes? Councillor Wright and Councillor Meek. All those in favour? Thank you. Reports from outside bodies. Council to note the following reports from members on outside bodies. Councillor Anthony, a report from the Discover Filey Development Trust meeting held on the 10th of the 9th 2017. There is a link to the report. Have you all read that? Do you want to add anything, Councillor?
Yes, I would like to. I was at a meeting this week, Monday night. Apparently things are not moving on because of what's happening with the planning. They've had no reply whatsoever for the last 2 or 3 months from the planning department in Scarborough Council. Just a comment.
Right. Okay. Yes, Councillor Casey.
It's just a quick verbal report really, because there hasn't been a Festival of Filey meeting. There was supposed to be an AGM earlier this month, but it was postponed due to ill health of the chairman. So we're not certain at this stage whether the festival in its present format's going ahead for next year. We won't know that until the AGM is called, which is hopefully going to be later on this month.
Thank you for that. Is there any questions for Councillor Anthony about the report? No, thank you. Could I please have a proposer and a seconder to note the report? Councillor Meek and Councillor Bosworth. All those in favour? Thank you. Number 6. Report to Council. North Yorkshire Police Report. Caroline?
Okay.
Yep.
Quickly, just introduce, sorry.
Do you mind introducing yourself?
No, I was just about to do that.
Council,
Yep.
please.
I'm Nick Gilbert, one of the new PSSOs in Filey. New to Filey, but not the role. I've been doing it for nearly 6 years, and I live in Filey as well, so I've got loyalties here, so I'll look after you, I hope. Okay? You have to bear with me because it's my first. I'm a bit nervous, obviously. The reports I've been given, I'm going to have to just read it from it because I don't know it because I've only been here a week and a bit. Okay, we've had a few reports of theft. One from Tesco's, which was ink cartridges. Ongoing inquiries, we're looking at CCTV, looking into that one. And then, unfortunately, we've had 2 reports of purses being stolen from handbags. Again, no suspects as yet, and we're still looking into that, but I believe it's going to be filed soon. Criminal damage, we've had a few cars damaged on Windmill Drive. Again, no suspects identified, but it's still under investigation, so we're waiting for more information. We've had vehicle damage on West Avenue, where an aerial's been snapped. That one's been filed, so it's been closed. There's no further action, so we have no more information. And again, another one, Pasture Crescent, which is the same as the book. Violence, reading through this, mainly domestic violence incidents. When we've arrived, one of the offenders assaulted police officers. We've dealt with that and we've had no complaint from the suspect's parents. So that was dropped, but we carried on with the assault and we got a caution. Antisocial behaviour. There has been 34 incidents of antisocial behaviour in the last month. We've broken them down into 3 categories: nuisance, personal and environmental. Environmental, we've had 1. Stop me if you don't know. You know what environmental means. It's outside pubs or it's outside events. It's the environment it's in. It's something we can try and manage, but it's likely to have happened because of that. Nuisance, is which it says on the tin sort of thing, it's caused people nuisance. There's been 20 of those, and then personal, which people have felt targeted or it's been targeted against them or the community. Has been 13 out of the, doesn't make sense, it says 20 nuisance, 20 nuisance calls, 6 of them was youth related. From that, good news stories. I've been told, you've already been made aware that PC Nigel Horsley is back with us as our beat managers who will be looking after the town. And then the fantastic news, you've got me. There is bad news, but Caroline's going, and I'm not allowed to say any more about that, and it is bad news because I've worked with her and I know she's brilliant, she's going to be missed, and that's me done. And that's it for my report.
Right, I will now open the floor to members' questions. Councillor Casey.
Yeah, a couple of things, obviously. Inspector Short's been dispatched back to Scarborough, I understand, which is a very, very negative step for this town, and I would like to see this council write a letter to the superintendent or chief superintendent to state our dissatisfaction with that. And also our gratitude to Andy Short if our plea falls on deaf ears.
Councillor Anthony first.
Sorry, I got another thing.
No, we've got to wait. Councillor Anthony.
Oh, right, yeah. Looking at the nuisance calls, that seems an awful lot, and it just sort of exemplifies the things that are going on in this area, in particular Mixon Street, Redmond Street. And I know from personal involvement as a councillor with one of the residents there that this is ruining people's lives. It's affecting the physical and the mental health, and some of them at the end of the tether. How are you sort of getting involved? Are you involved with the community impact team?
I will be, yes.
Yeah.
I came from Scarborough, which we were based inside the community impact team, so I know them personally. I've worked with them now, I think it's 3 years, so I know them well, and I know who is good for what they understand. Yes, I've got a meeting on Tuesday with Leslie Phillips, which is part of the community impact team. You have to forgive me, I don't know what it was because it was in passing. She says, can you do it? And I've agreed to it because it's fine now. I just have to give you a word this time that I am looking into it. I don't know what I can do at the moment because in all honesty I don't know the issues. I've only been here a week and I'm still following around the guys and learning the street sort of thing, but leave it with me, I will look into it and together we'll sort something or try and sort something at least.
I think it's been going on a long time. Yeah.
Hopefully I'm a fresh person from out of area and then I've lived here 14 years. Maybe my ideas make it better. Or I know looking on here, we have now got 4 PCSOs in town, which is going to help that because there's 4 of us walking around, so that we'll be seeing a lot more and hopefully deter the nuisance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Councillor Shackerton.
Firstly, I totally agree with what John's said, and if that's a proposal, I'd like to second it. Really, my comments are based on Caroline, really. Personally, I'd just like to thank her for all that she's done around the town of Filey. You know, whenever you see her out in the street, she's been like a breath of fresh air. And you'll be sadly missed by us all, I'm sure. And I'd like to wish you all the best in wherever you take her.
Councillor Meek.
Regarding Andy Short, I've been given very reliable information that the person, Inspector Smalley, supposedly getting a filing, that we have 4 PSOs that moved from Scarborough to Filey due to being under this inspector. And surely the police force have a duty of care to the other PSOs or police officers that have moved from Scarborough to Filey. Whoever's done this move, I don't think they take that into consideration or they don't know about it. The police force should be like anybody else, a duty of care to the staff.
Thank you. Councillor Wright.
Yeah, just on the Marilyn's point. When, excuse me, when those flats were going to be built, that are just next door, the actual company who run them is a, what it's called now, overall company. I can't remember what they're called.
Action, yeah.
Action housing.
Yeah.
Promised us that they would be for local, you know, as much for local people and that there wouldn't be any trouble at all. I think it would be in order for us as a council to write to them and say you are not upholding your promises as this is getting to be, well, I don't want to say a den of iniquity, but it's not upheld to its proper thing that it was. And I think as partly as much as you're doing, I think it's up to them to do, to give them notice that if they continue, that they're put out of the place. Because that's how I understand that there should be. And I don't think it's fair that we should put up with that sort of behaviour, you know, in an area like this.
I know from my experience in Scarborough that the community impact team, the SIP team as we nickname it, do a lot of this work. I can't comment at the moment because on Tuesday will be my first meeting in Filey with the SIP team over this way.
Yes.
I will update you as soon as I know anything, and I will take my concerns to Leslie on Tuesday as well and let them know, don't worry.
Well, we'll leave it with you for the time being, and then if you need us to write to
Yeah,
them,
definitely. The more people, it's the same
Yeah.
as the more of us that are together, we can just give reports, but it looks biased on us that we're just picking on people. But if it comes from different backgrounds and different
Yeah.
members of the public, they have to look at it and go, okay, yeah. Okay.
Councillor Mead.
I do think we get what we are doing totally wrong. We start talking about one subject and there's a proposal made. To me, you should stop with that subject until you've sorted it and then go on to the next one.
Thank you, Councillor Mead. Councillor Anthony.
I just wanted to say we have involved the social impact team with this lady, but I think it's, you know, for you to stress how many calls you actually do get around that property, and I know there's a fair few.
I will definitely look into it because I'm new to the area. I haven't got a workload at the moment. I have got my priorities from the other people, so I'm fresh. I will try my best.
Thank you.
Right, thank you. Any more questions? Okay, now go back to Councillor Casey now to put his proposal forward.
Yeah, I've got other things to say after I've done that as well. I'd like to propose that we write a letter to Caroline of Salazoo, to I'm sure, stating our dissatisfaction with the way that the Inspector Sharp's been moved from Filey, and making no comment about the incoming Inspector, we still know better. And also put on record our thanks to Caroline's service over the past number of years. So would anybody like to propose it?
Yeah, we got a proposal.
Second.
Yes. Councillor Axley and Councillor Shackleton, proposal second.
I'm sorry to leave some.
All those in favour of that, please. Thank you, everybody.
And secondly, I had occasion to ring 101 this lunchtime after a couple of phone calls from people who live in the Queen Street area regarding one of the frames. We don't know where they are, and they went just around the corner there, driving a white MG Tango 588 Delta Lima November, which the DVLA website says is untaxed. I would like to think it's probably insured as well, 1:10 today. It's a white MG. They're driving round and round the streets in a manic manner, witnessed by a couple of people. They rang me, I rang the police, and eventually got through. They assured me they'd sent it straight through to Filey Police. They clearly haven't. So if you can possibly look into that, that would be great. And to get back onto Councillor Wright's point about the SIT, Community Impact Team, if there's a particular issue with residents who are tenanted, then the Accent or Yorkshire or whatever will be invited into that SIT discussion. Am I right?
Yes. Thank you.
you. Yes, sir. Yeah, I've seen, yes, just a minute, Councillor Cross. I move standing orders 3E and adjourn the meeting to allow Councillor Cross to speak in relation to the item of business currently being discussed. Councillor Cross.
Thank you. Really, personally, you've had a bit of a baptism of fire. It's going to get better. I think the important thing is, you know, you're down, you know, working the streets, and it's the powers above Inspector Shaw that has actually moved Inspector Shaw, and that's where we should be addressing it, and we need to address it. And I say this as chair of the CAP group that's locally, you know, we need to be addressing it further up with the Police and Crime Commissioner and push it right to the top, because it's been here 5 years, it's done a sterling job, and you know, Fire is a lot better place to have him locally. I'm pleased that yourself is, you know, living in Filey, and I think that's good. And you know, there is an interest. Just to follow up on John's point, which you brought, and I noticed it today, and running about with his white MGB. It's also 6:45 and we're going up West Road, and it will come down with no lights on it. You know, and so, you know, and that was just 35 minutes ago. And so I go from there, and I'm sad to see you go, Carol, as well.
I'll still be around-ish, but
Yeah.
not directly.
Thank you. I'll now reinstate the meeting, and only members of the council can speak. Okay. We'll go on to number 7. Thank you for that.
Can we be dismissed?
Yes, maybe. And sorry to lose you. Okay. I hope to see you served out here and there.
I mean, obviously, when needs be, I'll just keep it finally, as and when anyway. So.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Right. Thank you very much for all you've done.
Thank you.
Go on to number 7 now. Borough and County Councillors' reports. Scarborough Councillors' reports. Council to receive reports from Scarborough councillors for the Filey Town Council area. You've got a link to those reports of Councillor Cockrell. Have you all read those? Have you anything to add, Councillor Cockrell?
Just one, Chairman. I think most people will agree with me that the track road railway went off very well.
It did.
And did a lot of good for Filey. I have been in contact with the organisers to see if they'll come back in future years. They tell me a lot depends on money, and they are asking anybody for sponsorship, stuff like that. And it will be useful for them to know by the next week, because they are having a wash-up meeting.
Right.
And they will be discussing the possibility of coming back next year.
Right, I'll just add to that one that while I was down there, I was asking the drivers actually if they liked the venue, and also if they wanted to come back again next year. Every one of them said yes. It was a fantastic venue, everything was organised right, and yes, they would come back next year, and yes, they will have a word with the organisers to try and push this forward. Okay? Councillor Hatchling.
Yeah, very successful event. They used the Coast Guard station as a timing point, and had a good chance to talk to a lot of them. I believe that if the borough is willing to pay 175 grand for a few push bikes to ride around the town, a couple of grand towards the trail rallying fine wouldn't be amiss. It'd be only fair and equitable to all if the borough put some money into it.
Councillor Mead.
I hope that we are still part of the borough. We haven't started sitting on the zone, so I hope Scarborough give it a look at it.
Councillor Casey.
I've also spoken to Lloyd Walker, and we've been in contact with him regarding the rally, and I've sent to the Chamber of Trade and FTA all the details he sent us about potential costs and about advertising for next year, and asked that fast out because there isn't a meeting until the first week in November. So that's been done. And yeah, the rally was fantastic, it was great. The only criticism, there was criticism on social media about it wasn't advertised, and it seemed to be us and the Tourism Association and people like that were getting criticised, but as we pointed out, it's not our job to advertise. Track roads should be advertised a bit more expensively. It was advertised really, really well in Filey, in all the notice boards, it was on all the Facebook pages, it was everywhere. So people who said they didn't know it was on clearly don't look or read anything, do they?
Okay. Any more questions for Councillor?
Just to come back, Chair, if I can.
Just to comment on that, I echo all, everything that's been said so far. I was down on the seafront on Friday night. There was a fantastic atmosphere down there. People were looking at the cars. And, I think it should come back next year. As everybody said, the drivers seem quite happy with the venue, and so do the organisers. So, I'm confident that it will come back.
Okay. Councillor Cockburn.
Yeah, whilst it is correct to say, as far as I'm aware, that the Borough Council didn't contribute any cash, Welcome to Yorkshire through Janet Deacon gave £1,500. The Borough Council did a lot of work in kind. They did all the street suspensions for free. They provided the company car park for free. They provided free use of Station Avenue car park. And there was other things as well. So it wasn't as though the Borough Council did nothing.
Right, thank you. Any more questions? Councillor Wilkie.
Just to come back on that point, I think that's the whole crux of the problem, isn't it, with the borough? They are doing things, they said nobody knows about that.
Yeah.
So the public only see if the borough put money in to certain events, if it's a cash amount. I get the point that you're making, that that's been a cost. People don't see that, do you? I think that's the crux of the whole criticism sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah. I suppose if it was a case of, as I'm sure I could put the value on all these, then it would be a case of, in effect, so much of being contributed.
But people don't see
No,
that.
they don't.
Councillor Hatchie.
Well, with all due respect, to do that for a push bike anyway and give a £75,000. So it isn't as if they've done any more for Filey, they've done less.
Thank you. Any more questions for Councillor Wilkie?
Sorry, I didn't want to ask it, but I'll ask you something else. The Coastal Communities Fund, I'm sure we could come up with something, but where do we find the criteria?
It's all on the web, on the internet.
Councillor Casey.
I had a look and I couldn't make out what was...
The Town Council got a working group looking at
I know you said it.
Coastal Communities Fund, and we're working with David Kelly from Scarborough Council, although you offered SBC regeneration or something. So I might need to defer to Tom to see where we are with that, really. We haven't had a meeting recently. The members of the group have put forward project plans to go forward to David to look at to see if we're fit for purpose to go into the final bid. We heard nothing back.
No, that's where we're at. So that's what you're saying.
But I remember we need to pursue that a little bit better than Tom. Thank you.
Okay. Councillor. Yeah.
Mike, I'd like to bring up Scarborough Council Street trading policy date at 9th of May.
Yeah.
Although you might not know about that because Filey Council, the same weren't consulted as a consultee. We've been getting a lot of, myself and Councillor Anthony, I'm sure other councillors as well, but I don't know, but I know we're getting a lot of flack because the person who runs the food festivals in Filey and further afield is really just with this, as are a lot of local groups like Filey and the Lions and people like that, because of the strict rules that are going to have to be adhered to, not in the least, the cost of applying for licences, getting people who are managed stalls, CRB or DBS checked, and outside stores coming in having to pay a fixed sum as well. It's going to price all these things out of the market. All the local groups and organisations, especially the Lions, and I am speaking as a Lions now as well as a councillor, will put loads and loads of events on it finally. If we have to start paying these costs, it won't be cost effective to do it. And the only people that will suffer are the residents of Filey, for whom the Lions do a lot. Can we do Councillor Anthony now, because she's got a vested interest in this?
Yes, I was approached by the lady who runs the food festival, and she's concerned that if these charges are correct, she won't be running any more food festivals. That will be the end of food festivals in Filey. You know, she doesn't make hardly any profit anymore. She hardly pays herself a wage or anything. So to pass these costs on to the traders, they will come for that price. You know, they're all sole traders. They're not, you know, in a position to pay more. So was any of this considered when this was being put together?
I don't know whether it was considered or not, you know, all part of the working group that put it together. However, having said that, on Monday I was actually discussing this a similar situation for Whitley with Councillor Sandra Turner, who's the relevant portfolio owner. And what I would suggest is put all this in an email to Sandra Turner. She's quite concerned, well, she's very concerned about certain aspects of it, and she will be taking it further. So I think you can email Sandra Turner, and then she's doing it all.
Yeah, because, I mean, I've read that pretty thoroughly as I was our town clerk. I seem to go through it as well. And there's a list of consultees, other non-street traders. Filey Film Festival, for instance, haven't been consulted. None of the Filey local groups have been consulted. This council hasn't been consulted. It says the Chamber of Trade and Tourism. The Chamber of Trade for Filey hasn't been consulted because I was the rep on it. And the Tourism Association haven't been consulted because I'm the rep on that and I go to every meeting. So that's really rubbish, isn't it? I am told by Jonathan Bramley, who was one of the officers at Scarborough Borough Council, that they are going to review the policy in light of the first year's experience and its implementation. So it's a good idea that we put all this together and send it to the portfolio owner, Sandra Turner.
Definitely send it to her, not the office.
And get our two penneth in there really, because this will kill the borough. Thank you.
Councillor Wright.
Right, I could go on one of my rants now. I'm really so angry about this, because people put in a lot of time into this town and a lot of towns, free of charge, voluntarily, and which voluntary is free of charge, and are proud of the town and want to do things for the town. And things like this is so, well, demeaning. It's awful that it makes you feel like saying, well, I'll tell you what, stick it, because we're not going to do it, to be CRB checks for every person that has a stall, and they're saying it only lasts for 3 months. That's what John told me anyway. So, I think it's disgraceful, and that people have to go, you know, insurance, I can understand that. But even for Valley Brewers, we had our summer fair outside. All that, well, not all of the cost, but most of the cost would go on. You spend £100 just asking if you can have it. And if they say no, you don't get your £100 back. We have to get that £100 from the public. And I don't think this is fair at all. I think there should be healthy voluntary sections. The government has always been saying, we want volunteers, we want people to do things. And this is, to me, a very backward step. It really is awful, and I feel so angry about it. And to not be consulted at all, I think is a disgrace. It really is a disgrace on the part of the council that brought it through. I just cannot understand it at all.
Councillor Butterworth and then Councillor Casey.
Thank you, Chair. All these wonderful voluntary groups that raise money for this community, who's going to provide a shortfall from those voluntary groups funding events in this town, in this locale, to better the residents of this town? It's just farcical that it costs money to put on fundraising events when all your profits and all your outgoings and incomings will never match up if that's the case. Putting money out left, right and centre, no, it's never going to work. It's going to
Thank you.
demoralise everybody. Yes.
Thank you, Councillor Butterworth. Councillor Casey.
Yeah, this was Cabinet approved in April of this year and Council approved in May this year with a 5-year review date, so there's obviously been made aware by more than us, I think, about the problems surrounding this, hence the 1-year review, which can only be a good thing. We must look at that positively.
Going back, Chairman,
I'd just like to ask who's the author of that report.
It's this Jonathan Bramley.
And it's gone through Cabinet.
It has.
The Council of Cockle was aware of it.
and Council.
It's gone through full Council as well. Cabinet and then Council.
I've not heard anybody shouting out against it.
If I can comment, Chairman, if you remember, over the last few years there's been a problem around Filey with a certain ice cream brand.
Yeah.
And that was an instance that was hoped that this would sort out, which I think, as far as I'm aware, it has sorted out. But I think in hindsight it's gone far too far. And certainly talking to Sandra Turner, as I say, she's of the same opinion, and she's told me that she wants this review and will stick in.
Right, thank you. Jim? Marilyn?
Yeah, a bit of a sledgehammer to crack a nut. I've followed this through. I've watched the Borough Council meetings and I've sort of followed it through. Nowhere did I see anything about these charges. And it was mooted originally to cut down on illegal traders, and it's suddenly gone from that to penalising charitable institutions.
It's gone OTT.
Yeah, absolutely.
Councillor Shackleton and then Councillor Mead.
Yeah, I was just going to say what Marilyn just said, really. You know, this policy was obviously set up with good intent, but it's finishing up targeting the wrong people. And as regards for charging this, or levying this charge, I'll just put 20 quid in the envelope and give it to a loan group or something, rather than give it to the borough.
Could you do that now?
Yes.
Councillor Mead.
Well, it's not quite Christmas yet, but all I can say is I think the Scarborough Council wants a new name. The Scrooge.
Thank you for that. Councillor O'Keefe.
I just got to thinking as we were just talking there. So if this has gone through Cabinet, it's gone through Council, and I'm assuming it's been debated at both, has it? Or has it just gone through and got
On
passed?
best recollection, I think it almost went through.
I was going to say, the point is that what point in any sort of debate are they thinking, well, this could affect other bodies?
It hasn't been realised.
No.
It hasn't been realised.
Thank you. Any more questions for Councillor Cockrell?
After Cabinet on next Tuesday we have the Executive Board, which is the Cabinet and senior officers, and again I will raise this.
Right. Councillor Mead?
I have an item. The trees involved Scarborough Borough Council and North Yorkshire, so I'll bring it up when Ellen comes up. May be able to make some comments when I bring it up. It involves both councils.
Thank you, Councillor Mead. Are there any more questions, please? No? Well, thank you very much for coming along tonight, Councillor. Okay. Pleased to see you back.
We didn't come back with Leeds United today.
No. Can I call Councillor Cross forward, please?
You can, but I am coming forward because
Well,
I am coming forward. pick from where I was at. Yeah.
Is that aggressive, Councillor Cross?
Because
Because it sounded very much like it to me.
Come forward. Everybody can hear what I'm saying. It's not so I don't speak loud enough. Right? A couple of things. Going back to the point as far as fundraising, you know what I mean, it's sadly that it is taking the fun out of fundraising and the volunteering aspect, which I depends on, is really sad that, you know, all the organisations, and there is so many in Filey that are run by volunteers, it's sad that, you know, that it could come to an end. But from the Lions point of view, I'd just like to say that we are all CRB checked, so there is a positive there. I don't know whether all the other organisations are CRB checked. And as far as my borough report, situation is nothing to report as yet. The only thing that I would say is that myself and Colin and the other three that were members of UKIP have actually left UKIP and are now all acting as true independents. I think they need to walk 5 minutes forward to do it.
I think it's common knowledge now, is that, Councillor Cross? Okay. Councillor Squires.
We start on a positive note. On Saturday, I was along to the library for their Fun Palace event, and it was marvellous to see all the volunteers and all the stall holders, etc. There was a lot of effort put in. It was a really good event, and it was well supported. It was nice to see. I'll start with Ravine Bridge, as I was last time. As soon as it is reported, an officer went out to inspect the bridge, and it is not considered dangerous. There is a fault in the parapet. A member of the bridge team will inspect this and determine the course of action.
Well, how soon will they do that?
Well, I'll change it if nothing seems I'm not really promised that that's going to happen. But I've been assured that it is not in a dangerous state. It's not considered to be in a dangerous state.
Even though there's physical widening of the gaps?
Well, I mean, he says there is a fault in the parapet and that it will be inspected.
With the parapet, anybody an engineer, which is the parapet? Can you explain it to me? Because the fault that goes down from the top, down where it comes into the ground.
Yeah, the abutment.
The abutment centre.
The parapet is across the top.
Yeah.
Right, so...
I assume you had above the parapet.
I don't know. If you can keep then please.
Councillor Swaits, do you want the answers to each question as you go down them, or do you, if you want to read them out all together and do it
As and when.
as and when?
Whichever you prefer.
Well, I'm just asking so that every other councillor can join in if they want to do so.
Well, if
That's
you
all.
take each point as it comes, and I think it would be easier. And then
That's
use
fine,
it.
that is fine, that's absolutely
Does
fine.
everyone agree with that?
Yeah. Can I go back to the library then?
Oh, sorry, yes, yes.
I thought we were waiting on the end, you see. Yeah, I'm glad to hear you have a positive report about the library and all the volunteers, but that's what they are, they're all volunteers.
Yeah.
And I've been approached with two acts only yesterday, the Filey Town and the Town Council, about funding, because their friends, the volunteers group now, are actually having to do the gardening around the library themselves, because the county is not doing anything at all. So this can't be right, can it? This is county's premises. The gardens, which aren't extensive, there's just a strip about this wide all around the side and around the fence. Just need hoeing occasionally and a few plants put in it. Yet this has been put on the volunteers who have to go out and raise money themselves from various local groups to fund something that the county should be paying for.
the libraries are being supported by county staff, and there is a member of staff in being one of the more senior libraries in most of the time. But all library funding has been severely cut, and some are in the position of being entirely community libraries with staff just going in a few hours a week.
I appreciate that. There's one member of staff at Filey when I put my questions about the volunteers having to raise their own money to do North Yorkshire County Council gardening on North Yorkshire County Council land.
Well, I can
And they're even considering going to Filey Town Council for a grant to support things that North Yorkshire County Council aren't doing. Well, I can't see our finance committee looking kindly upon that myself. I'm not speaking on your behalf, by the way.
The choice was to go down the sort of community-led route with support from the county, which is the route we've taken, or else, like many other councils have done, they've just closed the libraries. That was the stark choice.
Councillor Wright first, and then Councillor Wilkie.
I could say, on that point, we all know that.
Yes.
But it's just the land outside.
I can inquire about
Well,
that.
yeah. You inquire about that. Because, yeah. But the other thing was to go to the bridge, and this might seem only a very, very minor point, but one light is yellow and one light is white.
Sorry, on the bridge?
On the bridge. One light is yellow and one light is white. Church Ravine Bridge.
Yeah.
And this should either be both, whatever. Both white, really. Never had a yellow light on there.
So, one is
One's yellow, one's white.
Oh, you're on to it, are you, Maureen?
The borough lights, they're not.
Oh, the borough lights are not your lights.
they're borough lights, aren't they?
Yeah.
Right, I'll cross that bit off then.
Yeah, the borough lights. Sorry about that.
They're borough lights. And I know it is very frustrating that
Yeah.
one, county and borough, I'm finding it frustrating, so you must.
It is for us,
Yeah.
actually, yeah. Councillor Wilkie first, and then
I was just
Councillor
going to say the same as Marion. We understand the running of the libraries and the situation there. But what is the extent of the gardens outside, Joe? Do you know? So, what is the extent of the work that needs doing outside? I'm sure they can find a way around it.
Well, I mean, it's about as wide as this desk, and it goes all the way down the side to Spaces Tesco car park, all around the front.
Yes.
And then as you go into the car park, the right hand side, up the edge side, going all the way around to the back.
Yeah.
It's mainly shrubbery around there, but at the front, planted.
And people have put in a good deal of work. I mean, you can
Yeah.
tell there's been effort put in there. And I mean, I would imagine it would be easier going forward because I believe it had got into something of a state and it needed.
But there must be an easy way around that. I mean, that's something simple to sort out.
Yeah. They're swimming around looking for free topsoil because the soil's so rubbish. Why can't a county just bring a lorry full of topsoil and give them that, rather than they're having to scrounge around finally looking for topsoil?
Well, the facts haven't asked if it is. I can't say, you see.
No, but you've got to bear in mind, these are just volunteers who give a few hours a week. They don't know the ins and outs of county and borough and...
I'll ask some questions around it.
Councillor Anthony first, and then Councillor Shackleton.
Will they be doing the decorating then when it needs?
Oh, I don't know.
It just seems that,
I need to ask what the status of the premises is, because for some libraries, they've actually taken over the premises and taken full responsibility. But I don't know what the status in Filey is.
it would be interesting to know what the
I would need
volunteers, the
to ask.
scope of the volunteers is then
Yeah.
in Filey.
Yes, I would need to find out what the situation is regarding the premises.
Right, thank you. Councillor Shackleton.
Then going back to gardening, while greenery and shrubbery look very nice, if it's causing a problem for the volunteers and they're not able to do it, I think we should ask the county to come along and move the shrubbery and grass.
Well, until I look into it, I mean, I don't really want to say anything before I've had a chance to look into it.
Okay. Lucy came up Peter.
Yeah.
Councillor Mead.
Yeah, I know that Council Square says you're looking into it, but you should also mention what will happen, because it's quite a big property, when the weeds start coming through the block paving in the car park. And if this was brought up before North Yorkshire County Council, I don't think, regarding the libraries, these things should have been thought of at the time when they were doing it. Who's going to do this? Who's going to do that? It's all down to, as far as I'm concerned, it's down to maintenance, and maintenance belongs to North Yorkshire.
Thank you. Is there any more questions to that? Councillor Swales?
Okay. Right, shall I go on to
Carry on.
Silverwoods Avenue and footpath. Now, you informed me at the last meeting that DEFRA have issued a licence for the work. Highways know nothing of it. It's news to them, and they're asking who applied for the licence. To obtain a licence, there has to be evidence that there is no use on site, and highways are not aware that an inspection has taken place. So could they have details, please, of who applied for the licence number, and the contact details for DEFRA? Can anyone provide that information?
Councillor Mead?
I run DEFRA up, and under the Data Protection Act, all she would tell me is someone from the contractors reported seeing a newt. DEFRA put a stop order on all work, and she went as far as to say a licence had been issued not to North Yorkshire, to the contractors who originally reported it.
So it's the contractors that reported it?
Who the contractors was, I can imagine, but I don't know for definite. North Yorkshire should know that.
Well, they know nothing about it, other than that the work has come to halt because of news. And they
Well, they do know about it then.
Well, they have been informed of no licence or of any actions being taken.
I think it's actually stating who the contractor is. If the North Yorkshire should know who the contractor is.
Oh yes, I should know who the contractor is.
Yes, I think that's the line that Councillor Mead's going down.
And I don't know why North Yorkshire hasn't followed it up before now.
Right.
If they had all the money there, they did the base work, they did the original tarmac without the top coat. And 2 months later, if all work had been stopped, why did they come back and finish that on top?
Right.
So they must know something about it to authorise the contractors to go back onto site.
Right, well, I'll need to go back to them over that then. The street lighting on Church Ravine. As we travel down Church Ravine from Scarborough Road, the trees on the right-hand side of the road is North Yorkshire looks after. The highway officer did observe that some were blocking some street lights, and they will arrange for these to be dealt with. The trees on the other side of the ravine are looked after by Scarborough Borough Council.
That's good.
Alright. Everyone satisfied with that?
Councillor Roach, do you want to come in?
I'm just baffled by how it gets divvied up.
I don't know, it'll be somewhere in the realms of history, I expect.
Councillor Mead again.
When you said trees, I can't recall anybody bringing trees up on Church Ravine. I talked about trees on Wharfdale, which Andrew Stanton was looking into, and he'd passed this for an officer at Scarborough Council to come round and have a look, and I'm still waiting for a reply.
So that's trees on Wharfdale?
Yeah, that's what I stated last month. I'm surprised how long this has been going on. It's just unbelievable. Every time you ask the question, you go back.
Okay.
And you come back with an answer. It doesn't answer the question that was asked in the first place.
Well, I'll come to that later on. Now, the footpath outside these offices has been inspected, and there is nothing that meets the intervention levels, North Yorkshire County Council intervention levels. well, I don't know that I should really say this, with regard to moss, there was a suggestion that Scarborough Borough Council might be able to help. So I think I should quickly move on.
Right.
Maybe you shouldn't have said that.
I just wonder about that.
Yeah. Is there any questions up to now?
No, that's okay.
I think these things that come on, it's borough or county, or borough or county.
Yes.
I'll come with my own equipment and do it myself if that's what it takes. It would be a 10-minute job to clean that off. With months, it's yours, it's mine, it's yours, it's mine. I'll go saw the trees down myself. Or, you know.
Then nothing starts.
Well, you know, I know that, but what I'm saying is, it's so simple to get these things done.
I have never been in any council where it has been such an issue as to who does what.
Well,
I must admit, I'm finding it.
yeah, well, unfortunately, it's North Yorkshire and Scarborough Council, and it's getting to know which is the boundaries and which is theirs and which is yours. That's the big problem, a bit on, unfortunately.
Right. And Rutland Street and Yorkshire Water. North Yorkshire County Council had to close this road as a void had opened up underneath the road surface, and the material has gone down into the sewer. After visiting the site, North Yorkshire Water were considering their options, as the sewer in this location is about 10 metres deep. It's really deep down.
Yes, it is.
And so they've contacted Yorkshire Water and were informed that a senior engineer had yet to decide how the repair work was to be undertaken. But on Wednesday the 4th of October, North Yorkshire received contact from a resident who had been in touch directly with North Yorkshire Water.
Yeah.
Yorkshire Water.
You're getting your
they had been informed, this is the resident, they had been informed that Yorkshire Water didn't intend to do anything in Rutland Street as the sewer was just cracked.
So they're not going to
Well,
repair the sewer?
this is what they've said. And so Yorkshire Water were contacted and the situation was confirmed. And therefore, we're going to
fill it in?
no, we're going in this week to repair the defect on the carriageway. So we're going in it's said this week, so there's not much of a week left, so I haven't seen if anything's happened yet. North Yorkshire's engineer has spoken to the residents to inform them of what we're going to do, and to reassure them that we'll keep a close eye on Rutland Street should the defect return, because I don't think they're very trustful of what they're I think they've had some issues with Yorkshire Water before,
Yes.
but that's where it stands at the moment. So therefore, if it's going to crack, we'll be reassured that that's all it is.
Councillor Hawley?
North Yorkshire Highways filled it in yesterday.
And they have done it, yes. Yes, I wasn't sure it did happen yet. Yes. So hopefully, we'll just have to try and keep, they will keep an eye on it.
Good.
Because I don't think they're very trustful of what Yorkshire Water's told them.
Councillor Casey and then Councillor...
I just hope that the North Yorkshire County Council filled the hole in after Yorkshire Water and fixed the crack.
Just saw North Yorkshire lorry there. They filled it all in. They disappeared to get some time. And now, next time I walk past, everything has been cleared.
There'll be a
All
geezer.
the barriers have been taken away and everything else.
Councillor Wilkie?
I was just going to raise that point. I mean, do we know whether they've actually repaired the sewer or not?
Exactly.
Well, I'm presuming so, because I mean, Yorkshire Water have been contacted and to clarify just what the situation was. and on the basis of what Yorkshire Water have told them, has gone in and done the repair on the
I was going to say,
carriageway.
that surely North Yorkshire wouldn't fill that in unless it was repaired. So it would be
Well, I
surely a
wouldn't
recipe
think-
for disaster, wouldn't it?
I wouldn't think so, but they've been reassured by Yorkshire Water that it's in order to go and do the repair on the highway.
Well, I feel sometimes like we need to do these things ourselves, get in touch with Yorkshire Water and find out who's actually dealing with it and get a proper response from them rather than keep it going backwards and forwards. But who's dealing with it at North Yorkshire, who's dealing with it at Yorkshire Water, and let's email them and get some sort of response direct. Because it's just oh, we'll have to hope it doesn't reoccur, we'll hope it's this, we'll filled it in, but what we filled it in with. It's just farcical. It really is. There's just no firm answer whatsoever. And we're not used to having wishy-washy answers to real problems that that's been there for what, months, 3, 4 months?
Minimum of 3.
At least.
Minimum of 3.
So it's just ridiculous that it's taken this long to fill a hole in a street in this town.
Councillor
It's just
Haxley?
ridiculous.
Just waiting for Fred Carno to come riding into town with the ball again. I think the crux of the matter is, irrespective of the problem, the fact is it's taken 4 months. With a street shut in fire, I'm sure you'd claim compensation for it shut that long. I thought there were compensations under puzzle and everything else for shutting streets. And this has gone through the height of the tourist season. And one of the main streets through Filey. It's ridiculous, and why haven't North Yorkshire County Council kept the finger on the pulse and allowed it to go on so long? Why does it need us continually badgering them to get something done? And Fred Carno spelled F-R-E-D Carno.
Councillor Cross?
Thank you, Chair. Really, just to follow on from that, I don't know the area well, and I see what all around there very regularly, that's some of what I don't think Yorkshire Water have repaired it, because if it went into deep, there would have been an extremely thin man fixing it to get down the hole, because the hole was only about 5 foot, it's very wide, and with the covering over it. And as you're probably fully aware, one of the problems that we have when they did do it too far, they have to shutter the hole. You know what I mean? And there's no way it's ever been shuttered, so it hasn't been repaired. And I've never seen the Yorkshire Water there because I'm working property nearby there currently. So I've never seen Yorkshire Water there. And yesterday they did actually fill the hole in, and they could have done it if they were going to do it. They could have done it 20 weeks ago in June. I'm there all the time, I'm actually doing property up there, it's on the register of interest in Scarborough.
Thank you for that, Councillor Cross. Councillor Hawley and then Councillor Sheffield.
I'd just like to say that the town clerk's been in constant contact with most of the services. First of all, to try and discover whose fault it was. And when we did that, we got lashed around a few times. All the networks got another hole in the street, so they've got big stuff in there where it was theirs or not. They then got into Yorkshire Water and has been badgering them daily.
Well, I think until this resident had contacted Highways and told them they've been in direct contact themselves with Yorkshire Water, they've been expecting that Yorkshire Water, that they were supposed to be considering their options as to what to do, and so they were waiting on that. But now it would appear that they've decided that it is only a crack, and presumably they've dealt with it.
Well, the vehicle I saw wasn't Yorkshire Water.
Yeah, it was
It's not Yorkshire Highways.
But I mean, if it's all fallen into a sewer, there's going to be something showed somewhere. So, anyway, that's how we stand at the moment.
Right, Councillor Shackleton.
Yeah, I just have to ask, was it county's responsibility to fill that hole in? Surely it was the utilities company's problem.
Well, it's their
Are they
responsibility
supposed to make good?
Yes.
They didn't get up.
I think they didn't go. I don't know, it collapsed in
It collapsed, so it's not being put there by a utility company.
So they were arguing what all it was there.
I don't think I would really add anything. So.
No.
I just think the problem is it's been 3.5 months. North Yorkshire County Council have been waiting for Yorkshire Water to say what they're doing, but in the meantime there's been a hole for 16 weeks in one of our streets, closing effectively half the street. And North Yorkshire County Council don't have any safeguards to say, oh, we better have a look at that, see if that hole's still there, or see if what Yorkshire Water is. They should have been checking up. Anyway, we'll leave it at that.
Councillor Axley.
As Helen has already said, if a void appears, well, that material has gone somewhere.
Yeah.
It's either gone into the sewer or washed around the outside of the sewer.
Probably, is it?
Now, I would like county to write to Yorkshire Water and seek an assurance that wherever that material is gone, whatever they've put back in will not go the same route.
Yeah.
And the only way that can happen is if they've done some actual physical work on it. Because if they haven't, a void will appear again, and probably even bigger, because the material they put in is not as compact as the stuff surrounding it. So that will wash out preferentially anyway. So I really think in county's own interest, they should be writing to Yorkshire Water and seeking a total reassurance that it ain't going to happen again. Because the residents certainly will be extremely upset if it does.
Okay.
Crescent Hill. We kept off Crescent Hill during the track rod rally, as close the road would have caused major issues for the event. But they're planning to be on site on the Monday after half term. There will be some final preparation works done beforehand, but this shouldn't interfere with the traffic or pedestrian footfall in the area during half term. Residents' notification letters have been drawn up and will be sent out soon. Anything on that one?
So, yeah.
Signs on lamp columns. North Yorkshire's been approached in the past by Filey Tourism Association about the possibility of advertising events around the town on lamp columns. The association have been provided with details of the approved flags and brackets, which are similar to the ones advertising events at the Open Air Theatre in Scarborough. Unofficial signs should not be fixed to the lamp columns, or indeed any other signage. And we can report these through our street lighting team, and any that are considered a risk to those using the footpath or the road can be removed by the local highways officer. So if anyone could just provide any location of any signs that are giving concern, they'll have a look at them and consider if any action should be taken. We need the location of them, really.
Councillor Casey?
I'll certainly go around and do an audit of the Filey Town Centre, but every lamp post on the A165 has got something on that notice this morning.
Councillor Haxby?
As I brought up at the last meeting, it's every lamp post and road traffic sign and speed sign between here and Bristol, advertising the caravan, open day and sale, blue signs, they're still there.
And they don't take them down after the event, do they?
I wouldn't say they're dangerous and posing a risk to anyone, either unsightly, and B, they're cluttering all your street furniture, and they have been removed in the past.
Not only
but it is one particular caravan park that tends to dominate the problem.
Yeah, not only that, when the circus is here,
Oh yes, it's
disgusting how it's spread about. Councillor Cochrane.
Could I ask Helen, does that also apply to other street furniture? I'm particularly thinking of the street barriers at Whitfield's Corner, which is a prominent place for putting banners.
anyone mind, so long as they're not being disruptive to any pedestrian or road traffic. And it would be nice if we actually took them down after the event. That's the bit that really organises me. You know, when you're going around and way after the event, a lot of this material is still around.
That's good to know we can still carry on putting banners up there.
Yeah. Because I mean, I don't mind people advertising their event, but I do wish they would remove
stuff like that. Okay. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Councillor Cockrell.
Anything else there? Highways has recently held 4 parish town council workshops, and these were free to attend, and all parish councils were invited. The majority of councils did attend, and at these workshops, Andrew discussed highway inspection regime and the highway safety inspection manual, which give details of our intervention levels. He also gave an update on the parish portal. Those who attended found the workshops very valuable. Andrew sent a link to a digital copy of the highway safety inspection manual to every parish and town council. Have you had it? You haven't found it?
We didn't even know about these parish council meetings.
Says everyone was
Sounds like somebody's spinning a yarn on.
well,
Just have to ask him if it's clean there.
One at a time, please, because we're jumping about a bit again.
and it does say that if you want any more information, he's very happy to pop in to see Tom or anyone else on the team. Who's going to? If you report anything through the parish portal, which, I mean, you would have learnt more about it if someone had been to one of these meetings.
Well, if the clerk would have received this by letter, we would have known about it. I can
Well, I
guarantee.
can't understand why you wouldn't.
Well, we haven't. So.
Anyway, if you report things through the parish portal, you'll be able to see updates and comments from the highway officers on the cases reported through the integrated forms, which includes roads, you know, potholes, road conditions, road size, pavements, all the usual things.
Does this mean that any parish councillor can go onto the portal and report it, or have they to go through their parish clerk?
I would need to ask.
Because sometimes that is the case.
I would think anybody can go on and do it, but I would need to check that.
Right.
I think anybody can, but I'll double check that. And other items can be reported through the parish portal, and then these items will be raised through the normal system, but as yet the town council wouldn't be able to get to see the comments from the highway officer on those things. So,
Councillor
What is the parish portal?
I'm just going to tell
She's
you.
just looking for it.
I've just brought it up here. Parish portal allows parishes in North Yorkshire to log service requests for the highways team. You've got to register to use it, so that goes via the parish or town clerks. They'll administer their own parish portal requests. All cases that you log can be exported to take to parish meetings to provide updates. You can see comments on cases from the highways inspector, and it's a quick and easy way to log and track your service requests. We don't know anything about this.
Never heard of it.
yeah.
And you need to take that back and ask why.
Yeah.
So our clerk needs to log on to that for us then.
Yeah.
Just a minute.
I think he did get something the other day saying that something had happened and this was the report afterwards.
Right.
But it didn't look like, I've still got it stored away, it didn't look important.
All right.
It's like 3 days ago, 4 days ago.
Well,
So I haven't been yet.
When was it sent out?
I'm thinking that this, so you've had a change of clerk, it's maybe
Yes,
all
we did.
happened over the changeover period.
So it was sent by
Yeah.
that then?
Well, I'm not, they said there's been 4 meetings, and I'm not sure just exactly when they took place.
But if you
It says recently held, so...
if you let me have a look into it all, rather than going around in circles, I think, then I'll have a look into it and then I'll email you all around how it works and I'll
Yeah.
register us all and then, because we're just going to keep going around in circles.
That's absolutely
So,
fine.
I mean, if you would like Andrew to come through and sort of take you through it, I think that might be a thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very
And
interesting.
then you can ask any questions. I think that might be save a lot of problems. Now, I'm just trying to remember if that was everything. There was something about A-boards on pavements.
That's correct. Big one.
Yes. Now, I did speak to Helen Watson about this, and she remembers going round with Mike Cockrell, and I don't know if there's anyone else on the council. I think it was just you. And it isn't a problem just only here, it's in Whitby and Scarborough, it's all over.
Yes.
It's all over the borough.
Yes.
And there is a pilot going on at the moment in Scarborough, along, with the traders in Scarborough. And we're just watching that to see if anything can come out of that and find a way forward on this.
But this has been going on for donkey's years, as this, and it's been going on for 7 years, 6 years as this, and surely we can get something done about it pretty quickly, because that one that was actually spoken about, the big one, right, it is actually knocking the pavement down to two slabs.
That was on John Street.
No, it was this big.
Yeah, okay, Councillor Casey.
Well, why are they having a pilot in Scarborough? The problems are more pronounced in Filey and Whitby than in Scarborough. Scarborough's huge, it's got big wide thoroughfares. We've got tiny little streets. Whitby is even more crowded than us. The pilot should have been in somewhere like that where it could be actually looked at properly and dealt with properly instead of Scarborough. And they can't have been doing a proper pilot in Scarborough because they've spent the last 6 months doing the main thoroughfare and paving it all and tarmacking it, and so the town centre's really been closed for business for that sort of A-board issue. So it'll come back, the pilot will come back saying, oh, we've had no issues complaints now, and that's because the town centre's been locked down. Just beggars belief what they do at North Yorkshire Area 3, really. And we want some action now in our area because it's outrageous what's going on, and it's dangerous. Someone only a couple of weeks ago nearly got knocked off their mobility scooter into the road because of these highway obstructions, and somebody's going to get injured, or heaven forbid killed.
Yeah, well, I think that we have generally have more mobility scooters than Scarborough. I can't really say too much. There's a lot of mobility scooters, I've noticed.
Well, the more noticeable is Scarborough's a much bigger place. I was sat in Scarborough this morning with my wife, and 15 drove past us in 15 minutes because there's so many higher places. They get off the bus and go straight in and get the mobility scooter. So I think that's a non-starter, that excuse.
But we're talking about Filey, not Scarborough, see, and the more we have to wait and wait and wait, nothing's getting done. And there's going to be one hell of an accident before long with all these things sticking on pavements and that. There really is, you know.
From what Helen said, they are trying to find a solution, which as you said, it's a problem everywhere.
Well, what could I say? Sorry.
Can I just say, what is the pilot in Scarborough? Because that pilot in Scarborough...
Something with the traders. I think they'll be trying to do some sort of an arrangement with traders so that they take a bit more responsibility for their own shop fronts. I think it'll be something along that line. because it's
But
virtually
it's more
impossible to
specific,
police.
it's got to be more specific. This is what I'm saying, the pilot Scarborough may not be suitable to transfer to Filey or Whitby. Because in Filey you've got specific issues where you've got different footpaths. Like Councillor Kidd said, the Scarborough, unless you're going around the smaller footpaths, you know,
There's no problem.
there's no problem in Scarborough, the wider footpaths, surely. But that pilot may not be suitable to put in place in Filey. That's why I'm saying, what is the pilot? The pilot of what? What's the basis of it? So they're saying it's two flags or three flags or that side.
When I mentioned this two flags thing, she didn't really know what I was talking about. So.
Well, hence why it's specific.
I maybe explained it wrongly then.
Councillor Anthony.
Well, I think it's an easy solution. It would take an hour for an enforcement officer to go around Filey and enforce it.
There's nothing to enforce.
Well, there is. There must be.
Well, the people are supposed to leave the pavement so that people can use it.
Yeah, and if they're not, then you
they're not,
enforce it, surely.
Yeah. Councillor Cockrell.
Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Yes.
Over 6 years ago, I went round the centre of Filey with Helen Watson and Paul Burkitt, and we came up with the basic idea based on so many slabs of land. In actual fact, I think Tom, I sent it to you, didn't I? I managed to find it in my records. I will now forward it to Helen Watson.
Right.
Can you sell that?
Yeah, I'll ring her again and see if I can get
Right.
it. Have I covered everything from that? I think I have.
No, Councillor Casey wants to say something, yeah.
Well, it's still on the obstructions of the highway. Maybe it would be a good idea if Helen Watson come out of an ivory tower in Whitby and came down with yourself and a few members of the Filey Town Council and the clerk and did a proper survey again and then have a formulated plan of action with agreed outcomes.
I'll take Councillor Mead and then I think we've had quite a lot of questions thrown at us.
Well, I've got some more items. I've been brought in there. When Councillor Cross was on North Yorkshire, or when Michael was on North Yorkshire, we used to have walkabouts, and we've got more done with the walkabouts than we are now. We've gone backwards, not forward.
Right.
The walkabouts.
Thank you, Councillor Mead. John, do you want to say anything else?
Well, the walkabout's finished while Sam was still a county councillor because North Yorkshire County Council said that they wouldn't do them anymore and we had to report everything by phone.
Yeah, going backwards.
You could bring Sam in on that.
Councillor Cross, just to make
Yeah, just to
clear.
come, two things really. I don't think by law you can shove as much stuff out as you can do. I mean, you can't just put all stuff outside and block the streets. So there must be a specific rule saying that you can't do that, because otherwise you might as well go right across the street and be walking on the road. So there must be some enforcement there that you can't put something on the street. And as far as the walkabouts, what actually happened is, you know, after they did stop, I went with Councillor Casey, we did walkabouts, and we would walk about and, you know, see what were wrong, and anybody were more than welcome to come on the walkabout with me. Councillor Mead came at times, even though we had a highways officer, we did the walkabouts on a monthly basis to see what was wrong, and it was a matter of chasing up after that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cross. Councillor Haxby, and then we've got to move on.
I think following pictures on social media, one particular A-board precipitated a lot of the complaints, which is a bigger 4 or 5 foot thing in the middle of the pavement on Station Avenue.
But that's not acceptable.
No, it would be easy. Well, why hasn't anybody from county gone to look at that particular A-board? Forget the whole of the others, just look at that one for now and say that is unacceptable or not. And, you know, where's the enforcement man that knows the rules and says, yes, it's all right, or no, it isn't? We've not had an answer, but there must be a law, as Sam says, on obstructing the footpath. Else everybody would fill the footpaths with everything, and you'd be walking in the road.
It's the enforcement that's the difficulty. just the manpower.
Well,
It only needs one person on a mobility scooter for putting a substantial claim to county for damages, and you'd still move on it.
yeah, they would.
Fine, manpower then.
Councillor Anthony, and then we're moving on.
We did a walkabout with Andrew Stanton, and he did say it wasn't acceptable, that they had to go through the process, and that was probably a year ago,
Exactly.
and nothing's happened.
Exactly. Have you anything else to report, Councillor?
No, just to remind people to get their flu jabs. I've booked mine today.
On all this.
The last one, Councillor Mead. This
Well,
is...
this was brought up at the last meeting, and we haven't had a reply on it yet. White lining still hasn't been done. Coming up to, from the roundabout, up again the bridge down to Murray Street.
Right, thank you very much, Councillor Mead.
I'll leave next item, I think it'll wait till next week. Somebody might get the late one, but don't matter.
Thank you very much, Councillor Swires.
Right, thank you.
Right, we'll move on to number 8. Town Clerk and RFO's report. Council received a report from the Clerk and RFO for Filey Town Council. You have a link to these reports. Tom.
I'll make this swift. I don't want to the Rutland Street whole debate, but I just want to say thank you to Andrew Stanton at County Council for being the only person who actually was able to give me a straight answer on whose old it was after weeks of trying to use the only one who had the answer. Just moving on to other subjects, it was recently brought to my attention that the deadline for grant applications at Town Council is coming up. It will be for the 31st of October. I sent them an email with the grant application on. Finally, I just want to draw your attention in my report to the letter from the organisers of the Track Road Rally. They said thank you, but as Councillor Cockrell alluded to earlier in the meeting, they've also asked, I think the words exactly were, to do something to assist them in making a decision to return in 2018. So they've asked specifically for this council to consider that and to also provide feedback generally on the event. Obviously some good things were said earlier. I mean, I recognise we're getting on through the meeting, so it might be that people want to email any comments that they have to me, but that is all I have to report.
Thank you. Tom. We'll move. I don't suppose any questions on that. Councillor Casey.
Well, on the type report here, I just want to confirm that the extraordinary meeting of the property committee is on Thursday, the 2nd of November, not Tuesday.
Oh yes, right, yes. Oh sorry, I forgot about that. Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's
yes. I have a blind spot towards these dates. So I'm not quite clear on. Yes, Maureen have picked up on that. Sorry,
Okay. No, Councillor Wright.
Could I ask, have we had a reply to that we sent about the queuing at the parking?
Oh.
Have we had a reply to
I
it?
haven't had anything back yet.
Okay.
You want me to take them?
Please. Any more questions? No, right, we'll move on to number 9, finance. The scheduled payments. Council should consider approval of payments from the general fund for the period of 1st September 2017 to Wednesday the 4th of October 2017. You have a link to the schedules of payment. Does anybody wish to comment? Have we got a seconder? Thank you. All those in favour? Thank you. B. Annual Report 2016-17. Council to note that the annual return for the year ending 31st of March 2017 was on the 21st of September 2017. Certified without comment by the Council's external auditor, PFK Littlejohn LLP. There is a link to the copy of that report. Are there any questions on that? Councillor
No
Shackleton.
question, Chair, but I'd just like to say what an outstanding report it is. Yet again, the external auditors obviously gone through accounts thoroughly and could find absolutely nothing to report on. This is obviously down to the outstanding work of the RFO and all the admin team and also the finance committee, and I'd like to thank them all personally for the work that they did in order to get such a report.
Thank you very much, Councillor Shackleton. Have we a proposer and seconder to note the annual return? Councillor Buzzenworth and Councillor Meek. All those in favour? Thank you. C. Bank reconciliation. The Council to review and consider approval of the bank reconciliation for July 2017 and August 2017. There is two links here. A link July 2017. Can we take them both together? Yes. And link to August 2017 bank reconciliation. I take it you've all looked at these? Right, thank you very much. Once again, Councillor Shackleton, do you wish to make any comment?
No, I'd just like to move.
All those, have we got a seconder? Councillor Buzzenworth, all those in favour? Thank you. Right, we'll move on to number 10. Meeting with Scarborough Borough Council's Cabinet. Council to consider the matter of meeting with Scarborough Borough Council's Cabinet, which was deferred at the September 2017 full council meeting. Following the comments raised at the September 2017 full council, the clerk has created a report which seeks to provide clarity on a number of issues and outlines several options for members to consider. There is a link to this report. Do you want to comment on this?
Just very briefly to say that I know it's quite a lengthy report and I try and usually keep things short, but I basically sat down and came up with every conceivable option open to you guys, and this is everything I could think of that was legally, technically and practically possible. Yes, I mean that's it.
Right, thank you. Could I have a proposer and a seconder to suspend standing orders 7A and 7B to allow the discussion of the motion? Have a proposer and a seconder? Councillor Wright and Councillor Casey. Okay. We are all happy for this to be discussed. Okay. We have to take a vote. Okay, all those in favour?
Sorry, Chair, we're voting on what at the moment, sorry. Sorry, I missed that.
All right.
We're to discuss it?
Yeah.
So we're going to discuss it or not?
Yes. You have to do.
If you don't, because it's been 6 months the last time we discussed it, you don't suspend the standing order, you can't talk about it. Because you can't do anything in breach. I mean, the irony would be, as I put in the report, you would then be sort of doubly in breach of the 6-month rule. So if you want to discuss this now, you have to vote positively in favour of it, doing so. If not, there'll be no discussion in the item will be removed and carry on to the next item.
Councillor Shackleton?
It's just a word of caution. Mr Mayor, please make sure that you reinstate standing orders in order to vote on this.
The reinstated standing orders was not needed on that subject when Councillor Cross and Councillor Cockrell are brought in, because they'd already been brought in to speak before.
I mean, to vote on whatever's decided in the discussion.
You would not need to reinstate the standing orders to to vote on this, because what you do is suspending the 6-month rule to allow discussion on it, so that every other standing order will still exist. So when you're suspending this standing orders, 7, 8 and B, you're not suspending all standing orders. You're only suspending those ones to allow discussion of this item.
Okay. So, we need to vote on this one, whether we're going to speak about it or not. Okay. So, first of all, we want a proposer and a seconder before we vote on this. We've already got that, sorry. I'm lagging behind a bit.
So we need to have a vote or we're going to discuss
It's either for or against. All those in favour for? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5.
What was the fifth? 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4.
About yourself. No. Sorry.
Right. Now against. 5. So we abstain.
No. Are you asking, does anyone wish to abstain?
Yeah, oh sorry, yeah. Does anyone wish to abstain?
Well, 1, 5, 9 and 5. 9 is the amount of councillors that's here.
Exactly.
So the council.
So there isn't anybody else here to abstain, so...
No, it's 10 councillors.
So, oh, there is one.
Yes.
I
did.
I'll give you an answer.
Sorry, which one do you want?
Yes, I did. Okay. So,
Well, look, you vote for or against it, sorry.
I put my hand up for against.
All right, so that's
6.
6 against
Six
it.
against.
6 against it, so we counted it up as 5 and 4.
4, 5, 4, yes.
So there's 6 against motion for.
So the motion falls, so that's it, it votes against. Okay. So we'll move on to number 11. Council's business items. Outside group vacancy. Council to note that Councillor Anthony has resigned from Festival of Filey and consider the vacancy. Now I understand there's only 2. They only asked for 2 members to go on to the as representatives. Am I right? Yes. There's 3 still on. Right. So, is there any need to get another one to vote on? I don't think. Councillor.
Well, I'm a rep, Madeline was. Robert's just the treasurer, he's not a rep.
Was you a rep on
Jackie
it?
Oldenbanks is a new rep on it.
Yeah, so that's
there's
still 2.
still 2.
So we're still
So we don't need to.
So we don't need any more then.
Unless
Councillor
I think the way to go is ask any member if they wish to go on.
Yeah.
I'm coming to that. Okay. Is there any member wish to go on to this one? Councillor Hawley, you've got your hand up.
I was going to say, we don't know yet whether there's going to be a festival, so should it be deferred to the next meeting? Until later this month.
Well, until we find out exactly what's going on, Councillor Hawley, this should be a rep just in case we decide to go on. We don't have to go through all this again. Are you with me? Right, thank you. So, nobody else wants to go on this? No, right, we're okay, we've still got 2. Okay. We're going to number 12. Purchase of Christmas trees. Council to note that £2,688 has been set aside in the 2017-2018 budget for the installation, purchase and supply of electric lights on large Christmas trees. A further £500 has been set aside for maintenance and vandalism. Council to consider the purchase and installation of large Christmas trees for 2017 as described above. Quotes have been received of £725 for the installation of the lights and testing, and £550 to install and dismantle the trees. The following quotes were received for supply and delivery of 8 15-foot Christmas trees. Option A, Duncan Park, £1,280. Option B, Hornsey Garden Centre, £1,200. And option D, realchristmastrees.co.uk, £1,560. As the spend requires for this is over £500, we must put this through the council. Okay? Councillor Wright.
Well, this is very strange. I've never known this come to the council before. As far as I'm aware, that they can spend £2,000. Clark can spend £2,000. That's
The Clark can only spend £1,000 in the event of emergency. Technically speaking, it runs the rules of this council. I couldn't buy a £5 moth. So I have no choice other than to bring it through.
all of the money has been approved by the finance committee anyway.
No, it's in the budget,
That's not views.
Spending's not being approved.
So we've been unlawful for the last 20 years then?
No, I don't think so.
It's not unlawful, it's just procedural. It's just the way the procedures have been followed. It's just, I can't spend, this council does not have a scheme of delegation in operation currently, so I can't.
I think what Margaret's trying to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't wish to speak for her, but it's surely gone through decorative lighting systems.
Yes.
Trees.
Never come to us.
Well, as a working party, you, according to the rules, you don't have any power to spend any money anyway.
No, they didn't.
So,
And then it came to finance. It was sworn in until
Never been to council. Anyway, that's still on with it.
as long as we get us trees.
As long as we get our trees, Gina's always decided who we're going with, and I believe it was Duncan Park before.
It was, yes it was.
They sent some that was a bit small and they sent them back and they got the right size. It's just as long as they make sure that they are the right size that we want.
Right.
Bothered? Don't know anything about any of them.
Councillor Wilkie.
I was going to say, you might as well stick a pin in because we don't know anything about any of these three.
No
I have no
information about any of them.
information to make any informed decision, so...
Can I just come in here? Can I just come in here? The next line down that I will read out is the proposal would require an expenditure of approximately £2,475.
Yeah, we'll work that out for ourselves.
Unless anyone objects, can I suggest that we accept the installation cost and opt for the least expensive quote for the Christmas trees?
As soon as the chairman, you can't have option D anyway because it takes you over your budget. But I would second having the installation of lights and option B, which is the cheapest. But
I'm voting.
You're voting.
There's nothing else to go on. There's no information to go on, so...
Well, we have experience of option A, haven't we? Because Duncan Park supplied our last trees and there was a slight problem with them that rectified it straight away. They were fantastic trees, and for the sake of £80, I prefer to go with an option that we know about rather than someone an unknown quantity.
Okay.
Councillor Shackleton.
It runs in my mind that last year we were let down by a Christmas tree. Whether that was Duncan Park or not.
It was.
But we were badly let down last year, and we went into a firm from West Yorkshire, and I have to ask why that firm wasn't invited to go this year.
They let us down and sent us little tiny trees,
So
we
they were
then
the
had to
ones
send
that
them back.
Right.
We then had to pay an extra charge for them to bring bigger trees.
Oh, right, I didn't know that, you see.
Yeah.
No idea about that. Oh, that's good, you know.
So we didn't sort of entertain it this year.
Oh, right. That one Duncan Park.
No, it wasn't.
But we have had done from Duncan Park before, haven't we?
Yes, just once. Yeah.
So, we need an answer on this straight away.
Have you made a proposal?
I propose then that we take the installation of the trees for the cheapest one, 1, 2,
Well,
option B.
option B.
I'll second that, Mr. Chairman.
All those in favour of that, and move it on.
I've got an amendment.
I don't know.
That's awful.
If it's taking trace from Silverwood, you've got another.
I'll go on mute soon.
If I read this right, that quotes have been received of bullet point 1, we accept that, we accept bullet point 2, and we go with option A.
Unfortunately, because we've voted on this already, but proposed and seconded it,
You didn't ask for an amendment.
no, you should have come in then and said an amendment. But because I'm only going on what the clerk said telling me, you should actually cannot take that amendment now because of it's been already proposed and seconded on. Am I correct? Yes. You just voted.
You cannot put an amendment in until you hear the proposal.
Actually,
And I put my hand up straight away.
Well, let's go right back then to the beginning. Have a proposal, second.
you can't, we just resolved to do it.
Ridiculous, you know, my
Apparently we just resolved to do it.
Right then, I'll make one you haven't considered, because you only voted on where you're getting the tree from.
No, we didn't.
No, you didn't.
The proposal was to accept the installation and the dismantling and option B, the cheapest. That was the proposal, that's what we voted on.
Exactly.
So, next item, Chair. Right.
Okay? So that's what we're on about, it's been done, okay?
Just a point of order. In future, can you make sure that you ask for an amendment after the proposal and not vote on the proposal straight away?
Noted. Number 13. Eagle Academy Filey Sports Facilities Business Plan. At the April 2017 meeting, Council resolved that. Now, do you want me to read all this lot out? Because you've got it on your iPads. Yes or no?
Yep.
No, we've already.
No, I'm alright.
We've read it all.
Right.
No.
Council to note that a business plan has been created by a representative of EVA Academy. Council to further note that the business plan circulated to members has been created to secure outstanding funding. It is envisioned a different business plan will be created with the input from Filey Town Council and Scarborough Borough Council. Council to consider the business plan and provide feedback. You have a link to the EVA Academy Filey Sports Facilities Business Plan, and that is the appendix shortfall sports hall costs. I hand over the clerk now for a short introduction on the item before opening the debate to members. Tom.
So just very quickly to say that I spoke to the person who created this, and the idea is that a separate business plan will be created that will be more like a business plan, which will have feedback from both yourself and Scarborough. This is an initial business plan done to send off to, I can't remember which lottery fund, which is why it looks quite odd. So I did send a previous version of this to YLCA for comment, but unfortunately, because this came through at the last minute before I sent out the agenda, I haven't had time to send this one through to them. So at the moment, what the Resident Vivo Academy is looking for is feedback on this plan, so thoughts, and then what they'll do is come back at a later stage, as far as I understand it, with a more business plan looking business plan. I don't know how I should describe it. This is not my choice in terms of the way that this has sort of been laid out in front of you, and sort of process has been followed, and like I said, I've done what I was asked to do, which is to avoid feedback today.
Okay, Councillor Shackleton.
I just find it rather strange here that we're asked to discuss this business plan, and then in a few months' time we may get a further one.
Exactly. Anybody, any more comments? Councillor Mead.
Kevin. Yeah. You haven't got 12 minutes.
All the comment hours, I mean, as I read this, there is so much information to take in and to understand and to comment on. I don't know how I would personally comment on it myself, or whether the comments were correct or not. I don't know. But I tend to sort of agree with Councillor Shackleton. We have another one. You know, are we forced to comment on this or
Tonight.
You don't have to give it. Sorry,
Yeah.
You don't have to give any feedback at all. I've put this in front of you for comment and feedback. So,
that's my feedback.
Councillor Mead first, Councillor Casey, Councillor Buzzler, Councillor Shackleton, and then Councillor Axby. I think we've gone round the room now.
I think this is the third time we've commented on this. The first one was for one big job done. Second one, then they made it two options, option one, option two. They split it in half. So what do they intend doing now? Is it going to be one job lot or what?
This is just a sports hall.
It's just a sports hall.
It's a sports hall.
Yeah, this, I mean, the business plan, it's too short notice, it's too complicated. There's a group formed between Scarborough Council, Filey Council, Ebor Academy, etc. to discuss this and look at this in more detail. So this should have been that group should have been brought together to look at this, and then we could have made a proper recommendation to Council once we understood it in more detail. So I propose that we don't comment on this at all at this stage, and formulate a meeting of the sports provision group, if that's what we're called.
Can we just hold yours back a minute and let the other councillors speak, please? Councillor Buzzard first.
Well, I've been sat on this working party committee, whatever, since its inception, and chaired the majority of these meetings through now a year. First of all, we agreed that any business plan would be put before ILCA, because obviously, as councillors and lay people, we are not experts at reading business plans, which is why we pay our subs to a professional body like that to discuss and comment on a robust business plan. Secondly, I agree with Councillor Casey that this should have been put to that working party subcommittee, whatever title it's got, for us to have that discussion along with members of the board and Scarborough Borough and all the interested parties that have participated in all those meetings. So I really think we cannot comment on this evening without having some expert input from YLCA and our business partners in this venture.
Thank you, Councillor Haxley.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but one of our main requirements was a gym type fitness suite. Not a sports hall, that was secondary to the primary requirement of the community, which was a fitness suite. Am I right?
Yeah.
Now that features nowhere in this business plan. And I think we committed money on the basis that it was a fitness suite with an added on sports hall, etc. You know, it just didn't meet our original understanding of what was going to be provided. In fact, it's gone far away from that. And as has been said, it's very complex. And I say, I don't think it meets our original vision. And I think we need to look at it again in the light of that.
Right, is there any more comments? Councillor Casey.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Sorry.
No, off you go.
Just going on from that, I've read nothing in this that would infuse me to perhaps advise the council to pump £80,000 into it at this stage. As John had already said, it's far away from what we envisaged in the beginning. As we know, the academy's moved the goalposts somewhat, you know, from wanting the 3G pitch, which we said we wasn't going to commit to, and they wanted a two-part build, and there again, I think ourselves and Scarborough Borough Council really wanted one stage to ensure that the people of the public of Filey got the sports facility that they really should have. And sadly now we're just down to the sports hall, which, you know, looking at this, it benefits the school really, and not the public of Filey.
Right, Councillor Casey.
No, I withdraw my question, it's been said. No, it's not fine, it's fine, only you said that's all.
Okay. So, Councillor Anthony.
I completely agree with what Councillor Shackleton's saying, but we did vote on this before that we would go with phase 1. I mean, that's in front of us on the minutes.
We did agree in principle.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
Right, I move standing order 3E and adjourn the meeting to allow Councillor Cockrell to speak in relation to the item of business currently being discussed. Councillor Cockrell.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Sitting on that working group and having had some communication with the chap who wrote this alleged business plan, I personally don't consider it a business plan. There are no financial predictions there, or any detail. As I understand from the guy, the reason he's put this forward is to enable him to apply to the Sport England for lottery funding, and I think it's 150k to get the first phase going. And the second business plan would be for what we all want, the community use for. That's how I understand it. But I say, I do not consider this to be a business plan. Personally, I don't think we need to worry too much about it, because Sport England, if that is sent to them, would tear it to bits.
Right, thank you. Now we reinstate the meeting, and only members of the council can speak. Thank you. So the question is, are we going to defer this to the next meeting until YLCA have actually looked at the option 3? Is that correct? Yes. So that we have a little bit better understanding, but I'm pretty sure they'll throw it out. But there we go. So what we're going to do? Both hands went up at the same time then. Councillor Wright.
Just going to say, have they got a deadline and this has got to be in? So us deferring it, will that, you know, impede on what they have to do?
So, as far as I understand, the deadline is coming up soon. This is going to be sent in regardless of what you guys say. This business plan's been created to leverage the funding. The gentleman who designed it is talking about creating an entirely new one. The space to it. As I said, this is not, I didn't want to sort of do it like this, but he asked me to specifically bring it in front of you tonight, and I did say to him 2 or 3 times, are you sure? So this is why it's here.
I think we should just go back to YLCA with it and not talk about it tonight.
If I can just go on from what you were saying, John, this business plan has been a long time coming, hasn't it? You know, it was discussed, you know, a long time ago, so they want it. So if there's any deadline to meet, you know, in a long time ago, right?
Yes. Councillor Meek.
I propose we defer this item until we get a report back from YLCA, depending when we get the report back. There's no point stating next month, it might not be here. We defer until we get the report and then bring it to council.
Can we just let the rest of the councillors speak, please?
Yep.
It's next one is Councillor Wilkie on the
I don't think, they're just asking us for some feedback, and if we don't want to give feedback, we don't need to defer it or anything. We just don't give any feedback, and then we just wait for the next business plan that comes out. All this guy's doing is using this to get some funds. If we don't give feedback, as Tom said, he'll submit it anyway. So we're not being asked to defer it. We don't need to defer it and discuss it again. We're not just not giving any feedback.
right, thank you. Councillor Axby.
I think we just let him know that as a responsible council we can't put our name to or endorse this report because it doesn't meet the original vision and expectations of Filey Town Council. Full stop. Whether he uses that or not is up to him. If he wants to submit it without that, that's fair comment. But I can't see us going any further than that.
Right, right. So, what do you, as a whole council, what do you propose we do then?
Well, we don't need to do anything like that. If we just...
We're not to give feedback, are we?
Yeah.
We don't need to vote. I don't think we need to vote, do we? We don't need to do anything, do we? We don't want to.
There's three proposals so far that we've put forward, which is to defer, to, if I may call it yours, to do nothing, or you'll want to send back feedback along the lines of which is not what was envisioned, or words to that effect. So you've got those sort of three broad proposals have been put on the table so far. It's up to you guys to basically get some on the second one of them and then vote on it, or...
Exactly.
Well, that's
Well,
what
I
we
think- I'll second Council Haxby's proposal.
Councillor Meek?
I'll do exactly the same.
Right. Your proposal, John, please.
As a responsible council, we cannot endorse or put our name to any plan that doesn't meet our original visions and expectations. Or words to that effect. Which it doesn't.
Okay. All those in favour of that, please, show. No?
I have no idea because I just don't understand the whole thing at all.
Right. So are you...
Oh, well, yeah, fair enough, yeah, fair enough.
Right.
That's the case.
Councillor Hawley,
Yeah, I don't know.
you're voting right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to be sure. Right, we'll go on to number 14. Bandstand schedule 2018 to 2019. Council to consider approval of bandstand schedule for 2018 and associated costs. Council to note that the 2018 bandstand was approved by the bandstand subcommittee at its September 2017 meeting. Council to further note that the bandstand subcommittee is unable to regulate finances. Furthermore, the property committee will not meet until next year. Given the limitation time frame, Council is therefore being asked to consider the issue. You have a link to the bandstand schedule for 2018-2019. Have you all had a look at it? Right, thank you. Unless anyone objects to what is proposed, can I have a proposer and a seconder,
Can I
please?
ask a question, please?
Go on, Marion.
Could I ask a question? Is it usual that the estimated donations are £1,000 less than what they are this year?
Right. I'll bring Councillor Shackleton in
This is what we
here.
put in the budget, we estimate donations. That's all.
£2,000 left.
Well,
Doesn't matter.
We might get some rainy days, we don't know really.
Councillor Casey.
Donations this year were far and away higher than previous years.
Oh, right.
That's
yeah.
the budget of 2,000.
Yeah.
We normally don't get as much in donations.
Right. Okay, that's the answer to the question.
Okay. So, Jeff.
I'll go back to your original question. I'll propose it.
One second.
Right. All those agree? Yes. Right. Go on to 15. Alterations to finance regulations. Council to consider proposed changes to the council financial regulations. Council to note that the Finance and General Purposes and Strategic Planning Committees have reviewed and approved the proposed alterations. There is a link to the document outlined and the proposed changes. Please note that both the Finance and General Purposes and Strategic Planning Committees have reviewed and approved the proposed alterations. I am happy to open the floor to be debate, but if no one has any comments, could I have a proposer and a seconder, please? Are there any comments? No? No, a proposer and a seconder then, please. Councillor Axley and Councillor Puzzleworth. All those in favour? Everybody. Okay. We're going to number 16, alterations to standing orders. Council to consider proposed changes to the Council's standing orders. Council to note that the Strategic Planning Committee reviewed the proposals and supported those contained in the report below. You have a link to that one. Okay. Please note that the Strategic Planning Committee has reviewed and approved proposals and alterations. I'm saying this again. Standing orders state that changes need to stand adjourned for a month without discussion. However, since members of the strategic planning have already looked over these alterations and approved them, we could suspend standing orders. If not, they will be left to stand until the November meeting. Do members have any views on this? Does members have any views on this? In other words, what would you like to do? Would you like to leave it till next November's meeting and let it stand for a month? Or, as members of the strategic planning have already looked over the alterations and approved them, we could suspend standing orders. Councillor?
Yeah. So that's the fact that strategic planning have all looked and agreed, and that's sufficient under our standing orders for that to happen, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, then I suggest we go with that option then, really, rather than just delay it for a month.
Are all in favour of that one? If so, can I have a proposer and a seconder for that, please?
I'll propose that.
Seconder, Councillor Mead. All those in favour of that one? Thank you. Everybody? Yes? Okay. We're going to number 17. This is an easy one. General Data Protection Regulations, GDPR. Council to note that the GDPR is set to replace the UK Data Protection Act 1998 from the 25th of May 2018. Council to consider the resolution in the below made by Strategic Planning Committee at the September 2017 extraordinary meeting. Councillor Walker proposed, seconded by Anthony, that the committee to recommend the council that the clerk be made data protection officer for the council in line with provisions of, contained in the GDPR. And it was resolved that the proposal received unanimous support, and the clerk was instructed to take the matter of the Council's Data Protection Officer to the next ordinary council meeting, which is this. Unless anyone wishes to comment, please could I have a proposer and a seconder? Does anybody wish to comment? No? A proposer, Councillor Axby, and a seconder, Councillor Mead. All those in favour of that? Thank you.
Who's this Anthony person? Is it Councillor Anthony?
Sorry. I'm just reading that correctly. Number 18. Borough-wide PSPO. Motion to be moved by Councillor Casey. Council notes that at the June 2017 meeting, it is resolved to instruct the clerk to write to Scarborough Council SBC and request that they investigate the feasibility of a borough-wide public space protection order to tackle the seagull problem. Council further notes that SBC have responded and said that they have no plans for the council to introduce fines for people who feed gulls or to pass a PSPO for such activity. Council believes that SBC should do something to tackle and alleviate the problems associated with the people feeding birds, in particular herring gulls in Filey. Council instructs the clerk to write to SBC formally requesting that they 1. Establish a public space protection order, PSPO, which would seek to prohibit people from feeding herring gulls in Filey. 2. To provide adequate enforcement to ensure the viability of PSPO in the future. 3. Undertake work to tackle the problem in Filey, irrespective of whether or not a PSPO is established. Such work could include removal of nest eggs from herring gulls in the town. And 4. Outline in detail how they plan to deal with the problem in Filey in the long term. Could I have a proposer and a seconder to suspend standing orders 7A and 7B to allow for discussion of the motion? Can I have a proposer and a seconder? Thank you, and Councillor Anthony and Councillor Casey. Now we can happy to discuss this.
Right, that was a mouthful, wasn't it, Richard?
It was.
I know we've discussed this before, and I know I've suggested a PSPO to Scarborough before, and I know that they're not too keen on it. But since then, I personally have had a lot of feedback from businesses and the Filey Tourism Association and some members of the public asking if this could be pursued in some way, shape or form, and along the lines in the proposal there. So it's I just want to open it up for discussion again and see what the full council thinks about what happens.
Councillor Meek and then Councillor Haxby.
Right, the state there that Scarborough basically don't want to do all that in. But they'll destroy people trying to introduce that, which is not really no need for it.
Okay. Councillor Haxby.
Having witnessed a young lad have his bag of donuts ripped out of his hand on the cobble landing on Lifeboat Day, having witnessed my next door neighbour having her arm cut with a seagull on, I think it was Bellevue Street, you know, I can only agree with it. I think it was Bill Chatt who last year said Scarborough was a testing site for 1 year, and then it would be looked at into rolling it out. And this was only removing nests. I'd like to know what the progress on that is and what his views on this test have been. Yeah, but I still go back to the fact that when we used to climb the cliffs and collect games, there certainly wasn't the problems there are now, and I think Scarborough Borough Council ought to look into getting a a licence throughout the whole of the borough for people to be able to go and get gulls' eggs, herring gulls' eggs, as they used to do many years ago.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Councillor Wilkie?
Well, I was attacked by it this evening. Poor old Harriet lost her hot dog on the cobble landing. So, yeah, I think I said before, I don't disagree with it. I think it's a great idea if we can get it going, but we know what we're up against, don't we? And that's the only problem with Scarborough Borough Council digging their heels in, don't we?
It gives Scarborough Borough Council the option to, if they're still saying no PSPO, to, you know, come up with an alternative plan, and that's all we're asking for, some action.
I think we should sort of support it and at least try and get something done about it. It's only going to get worse.
Anybody else want to speak? Councillor Anthony.
I think all these things could be sorted if we're allowed to have enforcement in Filey. If we had an enforcement officer that could cover everything, you know, the goals, the A-boards, you know.
The separate issues.
It doesn't matter, an enforcement officer is an enforcement officer.
Oh, an enforcement officer, yes,
Yeah.
but the different bills you say that have to go through enforcement.
Yes, but an enforcement officer would know about, you know, I'm just saying it would be, you know, if Scarborough would allow us to have one enforcement officer, they would do the whole caboodle.
That is Scarborough, the whole borough.
No, just
Right.
one. We only need one enforcement
We
officer.
know it will, but, yeah. Okay. So,
what do we need a proposal?
So I move this motion to be proposed and seconded, is that right, Richard?
that's correct, John, yeah. Yeah,
I'll propose it.
and we've got a seconder for it. Councillor Hacksfield. Yeah. All those in favour of this? Thank you. Right.
Could I just give you a few facts, Mr. Chairman, some interest? The seagull lays 3 eggs. When we were climbing, we never took a nest that had 3 eggs in, because at least one of them had gone.
Yes.
So it was self-preservation, if you like, in that we didn't wipe the whole lot out. On any one climb, we could get a gross of eggs. And there were 3 teams climbing. So that equated to 3,000 eggs a week. Over a 3-week period, you're talking about 10,000 potential birds that weren't there to come and pest you. Yet the eggs were pest-free and obviously carried on. So it didn't destroy the population, but it did limit it by a massive amount. And those eggs were all eaten locally, believe it or not.
Yes.
Every egg. So fine. Anybody that's had a single egg, it's like a free-range hen egg.
Yes.
Not
Can
machine,
you explain to councillors that don't know the word gone?
Golly.
Gone. Golly, that's
starting to develop a fetus.
Yes. Okay, just in case none of you understood what that meant.
Those are just a few figures that make it, and that was only between Filey Bridge and what we call Chinhill.
Yeah.
You know, a couple of miles stretch. So, you know, you open it up to Scarborough and everybody else, and you're talking about a hell of a lot of eggs that you can prevent hatching.
Yeah.
For want of a licence from government. And if Scarborough got the finger out, wrote to government and explained they wanted the licence, I'm sure they'd get it.
Thank you for that. Right then, we'll go on to 19.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
could you reinstate Stanley Road? Suspended them.
Yeah. And I think it's on standing order apparently. So the clerk has informed me. Okay? So we'll go on to number 19 now. Date and time of next meeting. Council confirmed the date and time of the next ordinary meeting, which is scheduled to be held on Wednesday the 8th of November 2017, commencing at 7 p.m, the council chamber. Council officers, well, we all know where they are. Could the council please confirm this date?
Can I just ask a question?
Councillor
Can I ask a question? I'm sorry if I'm being a bit dim, but why are we asked to confirm the dates and the time of the next meeting? Is it just a procedural thing, or some more rules, or because we've never done that before?
You don't have to, because I mean you do it so that everyone knows what it is, and also in case you want to change it for whatever reason.
Right.
I mean, you set out a schedule, a calendar of the meeting, but you don't have to meet on days the calendar sets out. So it might be for whatever reason you wish to.
So the council meetings don't have to be on the second Wednesday of every month?
Unless it's set out in standing orders.
Pardon?
Unless it's set out in standing orders.
I was just wondering why we need to confirm.
And you can't extend standing orders as long as the time as well. It's up to you guys. See, if you don't want it on there, then just remove it.
I was talking, we all know that the second Wednesday of every month, so I thought it was something else that we had to do. Doesn't matter to me.
I mean, we've all got a lot to learn on this script and that. And to be honest, I struggle at times with it, don't I, Tommy?
No.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you all for coming, and I'll declare the meeting. Kevin, do you want to say anything?
Hello.
Close.